everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Every leader has a journey which is unique. They have gone through some hurdles, and with the Leaders Speak, we're trying to understand how they have overcome those hurdles. And today we have a very special guest with us, Rahul Sasi. He's an Indian entrepreneur, founder of CloudSEK, and a security expert. He was voted as one of the top influential cybersecurity person in 2015. He has made significant open source contribution to the security landscape and an invited speaker to over 20 plus countries. He's part of working committees of RBI and MIT. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining me today. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Adana. Really appreciate having me here.
Rahul, we want to know that how did you start your venture? I am sure it was not a piece of cake. It was There were some hurdles that came your way, and you had an idea. So how did you start implementing it? What was the approach that you took?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing with ideas are that right, everyone has ideas. The Unless you start converting that idea or implementing that ideas are kind of pointless, right? So it's always about starting. And for me, the starting point was that, well, when I travel to all these countries, right, as an invited speaker, I was a very curious guy. I mean, I used to go to every booth in these conferences and then take a pamphlet of the startups which are there, right? So I can read it on the flight back or in my hotel room or wherever. And one of the interesting notices I made was that all these companies are either from the US, UK, or from Israel. And but then there are a lot of Asians who are working for these companies, right? Which made Who was in the booth, by the way, who are in the booth, which made me think, what is stopping us from this region building a world-class product, right? And selling it to the world, right? Why can't we do it? That thought process got into my head somewhere in 2014, and when I was working with Citrix, that was my last company. It it kind of it's like the feeling that, well, this idea is, the need is to start something from this region, and the product idea was that, well, the space which we are right now, there were no product at that point of time. They were all services which are used to tackle whatever we are in the space of digital risk monitoring, and and when there was no product and the services, and we thought, well, this is a good idea, and why not start? So somewhere in 2015, I quit my job when starting, and again, like I said, right, when I started, I didn't. Well, I knew the idea was good. I researched on the idea. I knew the need was also there. I knew it was important to start from here so that we would be the first largest cybersecurity company ever to build from this region. Well, these all combined, it was just about going and figuring it out. So, and over the period of time, over time, right, we figured out things. But that's how it started.
Thank you, Rahul. And how does your typical day look like? There are so many hats that you have to wear. Being an entrepreneur, you have to handle multiple aspects. So, how do you start your day?
Yeah. So I think the way I look at it is, I'm like the Nick Fury of my company. If you're close to Marvel, his job, he's the one who he put together the Avengers Initiative, right? The way I look at it is, I have no superpowers. My job is to find people with superpowers, bring them together, give them a an objective, which they all fight with all their superpowers, right? This is my fundamental of, you know, this is what I actually do in the company. So the good part of my time actually goes in finding good people and helping my teams finding good people and bringing them on board. So that I spend a lot of time. The second part is very focused on the product. And I would say I would work 16 hours, 16 or a little more, but all the time is being spent thinking, how can we create value for our customers? And then value creation is quite a challenging thing, right? And people don't think. See, you can sell anything, by the way. If you're a good salesperson, you can sell anything. But retaining what you have sold is only by making sure that the customers are having some sort of value. So that value creation is something you need to really, really think about it, right? I mean, you sold someone a phone. Well, that phone has enough value for 2 or 3 years, or after 2 years, will the value diminish, right? A lot of those. So my time gets spent over there. So that I work with the team. I spend a lot of time thinking on what to do next, etc., etc. So that's second. The third thing is actually operational things. I spend least amount of time, um, and I think there are enough people, and also I don't spend much time in, how do I say, checking whether someone's work has been done or not, right? When if you have found good people on the top and you find them something, if they're good, their job is to get it done. So there's no point in going and following up with them 100 times whether it's done or not. Then you have done the bad hiring. So operational matters of that sort, I be spent. Uh, the last thing I spend time is actually with, like I said, hiring, product, and and the culture part. I spend a good amount of time thinking whether the culture we are having in the company, right? See, a culture is everything which puts together a group of people. It's like it's like how tribes are formed. A tribe is a group of people who believe in the ideologies of that tribe, right? Or a cult. If you look at a religion, why do so many people follow different religions? It's actually a group of people who believe in something, right? And that's how the culture around that is formed. So how do you make a group of people believe in something and work towards that common objective is the culture building part. And I spent a lot of time thinking, working, ensuring that our people are are like a strong cult, uh, working towards what we are doing. So these are the three things I primarily focus on.
Yeah, I think I can so relate to this culture part. If you have best of people, best of technology, and the process is good, but if the culture is not right, we wouldn't be able to get to the point where we want to reach. Even
Yeah.
as an employee, I would want to work for an organization which has the right culture so that they can treat everyone equally. So I'm sure
So in
this is, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just was adding, you're right. In fact, in our company, we don't use the term employee at all, right? The word employee is banned. In fact, people are told if someone sends an email addressing them as employee, you should trash that email and mark that person as spam. We refer them as cloudsters, and that's the way we address it. I am the first cloudster, right? And then everyone who follows our cloudster. So we don't even use the terminology employee at our company.
Wow, incredible, Rahul. Um, on the same lines, when you work on your maybe an idea, like you said, you work on digital trust monitoring. So, did you think about having multiple plans? Because when we start something new, like startups, because I've been interacting with a lot of startup owners, and they have different visions, they have different vision for different things. So, did you have multiple ideas like plan A, plan B, plan C for the product, or maybe when you started off the organization?
The product, before the product part, the ideology, the vision was, can we make machines do a lot of cybersecurity tasks which we are doing better? If you look at my life before, we used to do a lot of repetitive tasks in cybersecurity just because there was no intelligent way of automating it, right? So our fundamental objective of our company is to build technologies that can convert cybersecurity knowledge into intelligence in a fully automated way. So that's our purpose, right? So now, out of that purpose is where the product comes. So that purpose has always been the same, right? In the product part, you make changes here and there, and again that you figure out down the line. You put something out and you understand this is not make, you pivot immediately, right? But the fundamental core vision of what we wanted to build always remain the same, and it will remain the same, right? But the vision of the company, the purpose of the company, or the mission of the company is one. Product is second, by the way. Out of the mission and the purpose comes the product. Right? So in our case, the mission and the purpose was to, one, the mission, technological mission, was to make machines think about security like human beings, and then to build a great company out of this region. Right? So those two things remained always the same. The product is the one who changed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And if you are teaching your mentees or your juniors, what would be the three lessons you would want to impart them or share it with them based on your experience?
No. So I mean, the only thing I tell people is be curious, right? Be be curious in such a way that people will think you are stupid, right? And there are so many people who have this prejudice that, well, I should not be asking this question because it's a stupid question. Well, that is one thing, and I think it got into, I don't know when it gets into our head. Maybe schools would have implanted, right? Don't ask that question. Don't. That's a stupid question, right? I don't know. I mean, so the point is that, well, there's nothing like a stupid question, by the way, right? Only that you might not have an answer, probably. That might make you term it as a stupid question. So my point is, always be curious in whatever you do. Like, go into the depth of what you do. Ask questions of why every time. Why? Why is it here? Or why is the color of my computer white? Why couldn't it? I mean, I picked up, the white color, but the company offered me only four different colors. So why was it only four different colors, right? Simple questions, you keep finding the answers. You will get answers to a lot of things which you never thought. A simple thing, right? If you remember the Coke bottles, right, or Pepsi bottles, it has that cap. You see the cap, right? I mean, the opener. And I don't know if you have noticed, the number of pins around that Coke bottle is the same. Not just Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, any beverage you take, the number of pins, like it's that sharp edges, is the same. But that's a simple thing. Everyone would have opened a Coke bottle or had one of that sort, but then we don't ask why it is the same. Well, it is same because the technology of locking a Coke bottle is patented. And the patent says you can lock a bottle with X number of pins. And because every company follows that patent, they have to put that number of pins. Right? Again, the point I'm trying to make is everything we see around, there is a reason why it is like that. And if you don't ask questions on the reasons about why it exists that way, well, then well, you're not living the right way. So ask as many questions. There's no stupid questions. I keep saying this, by the way. Second, I keep saying is that, well, irrespective of whatever you pick up, you just have to strongly, as long as you strongly believe in it, just don't give up. Very simple, right? There's nothing I have personally not able to do, whatever it was that I was and I did, by just persistently, with persistence, by the way. And I see a lot of people who are really good in high school, or they'll be really good in college, and then they go really bad after that. In the sense, they just get lazy, right? When they get their first job, they're like lazy, or the first year of their job they would have been super awesome, and then they go down. Well, I would say, okay, don't peak. It's okay. Do it persistently. You know, you you do it persistently till you will die. Don't like go zigzag up and down in your persistence. That's when bad things happen. Whatever you do, if you do it persistently, it's going to get a huge amount of returns. These are some of the things which I keep preaching, which I strongly believe. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing all the insights with us. This is really helpful. And being persistent, I can totally agree with it, because
Yeah.
if there's an idea that's stuck in my head, till the
Yeah.
time it's done, I don't leave it.
No, I've seen you actually, right? I mean, I think you have been doing all the community work ever since you started. You haven't stopped, right? Uh, and again, a lot of people just start things, but then don't commit to that particular thing, right? Maybe because hard, or I don't know, if get bored, I don't know. But you've been very persistent in this community part. Yeah, yeah.
Thank
So
you.